Hello everybody, welcome to Hogwarts. Today I was reflecting on how I tend to way overown my weaknesses and my insecurities and my failures. And it got me thinking about other ways that my mind plays tricks on me, and how your mind may play tricks on you. And so I wrote me up a little list that I'm going to share with you today. And in sharing these tricks that our mind may play on us, if we were raised by people who are negative, fearful, self-absorbed, disconnected, in all these different ways, I want you guys to not overown the list too much. Just take it as thoughts, ideas to chew on, to reflect on how they may play out in your life, just to gain awareness of how they play out in your life so that you can move forward, seeing them when they do come up, these tricks, and saying, hey, not today, a little trickster. Today I am choosing to be proactive and act out of love and alignment with my truth and compassion for myself and others, and take responsibility for enjoying my life right now. So stay tuned till the end. I have a homework assignment for you, and also feel free to take notes. Take notes on these points and consider how they do play out in your life. And again, don't overown them. This video, like one that I made a list for on basic traits of adult children of alcoholics, which I'll link here for ya and recommend down there for ya, I want to not edit. I just want to say things to ya and let you guys hear me unedited, because another trick that we have is thinking that we have to edit ourselves, that we're not enough as we are, and that people don't want to listen to our thoughts, even if they're not perfect. We want to perfect them. And I mean, we're just not perfect. Nobody's perfect. That shouldn't be our aim. Our aim should be to just, share our ideas with the world if we've got them and want to. And other things, other aims as well. But that is my aim for today. I'm feeling kind of calm. So that's cool. The bliss of the house is really just soaking in. And so we're going to jump into this list, but I hope that you guys feel calm, cool, collected while listening and reflecting on the list instead of over-owning it. All right, cheers to owning our strengths and living by our values instead. So, the first trick that came to mind is negativity and pessimism. Seeing the bad first and foremost in situations, in people, in opportunities, in the future, in past experiences, and in ourselves. And on the flip side of that same coin, not having optimism and hope, seeing the best in people and situations and opportunities in the future and the past. Rather, we focus and zero in on, really just like blindfold, zero in on negativity. The next point is we overown our weaknesses, like I already said, and we underown our strengths. And not only do we do this, but we project this, our overowning of weaknesses, our criticism, our shame, onto the world around us, our not being enough on our life not being enough, and the people around us not being enough. And we underown life and people around us, their strengths. And overowning our weaknesses, another point that I wrote down under this point, was that we don't have conviction. We feel uncertain. We speak in an uncertain, way. And we don't share things with confidence. Not only our thoughts in our words, but through our actions, through our body language. We don't have conviction and act act and live in a way that is righteous and deserving and worthy of this space, this moment in time, our thoughts, whatever is on our mind. The third point that I wrote down is grandiose. So, we see one thing in one moment of time, and we project that onto our entire life. Our past, our present, and our future is bad, for example. And if our past was bad, it means that our present has to be bad too, and that the future is probably going to be bad too. That's pretty grandiose thinking. I always self-sabotage. I always say I'm going to change in this way, and then I don't. I always say blah, 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 when I want to say something with conviction. Or you always do this. You always don't do this. Always, that word always. Or never. That's grandiose. And thinking that whatever our needs are, our emotions are, or our behaviors are now, always will be, and always must be. So the example that came to mind with this point is how I went no contact, and how I am no contact with people in my family, and so many people say that that needs to be forever, and that is so okay for them. Like, it's okay to be grandiose in a way that's like in alignment with you, but I just don't like to speak that out loud or confine myself to that truth, even though it's honoring my needs now, and it looks like a valid way that will honor my needs for the rest of forever. I don't like to confine myself to a box of always having to not do this thing or any grandiose opinion, way of living, So, I guess that's all I have to say about that. I want to wrap it up more neatly for you guys, but again, I'm not trying to be perfect today. I'm just letting you guys... Anyways. Okay, the next point is validation comes from outside sources rather than within. Your opinion matters more than my opinion. Codependency. If you're not happy, I can't be happy either. If you're happy, wow, I can be happy. Validation from outside. It's okay to feel however I'm feeling as long as everything outside is in alignment with that. Rather than you maybe setting an intention for how you want to feel, regardless of external circumstances, regardless of external opinions of that feeling and vibe that you're going for. Doing XYZ because of others, rather than from an attachment and alignment with yourself and what you want. So I did this because you did that. I do this because you need this or that. Validation from outside sources. It's okay to do this other thing if other people say that they would like it if I do that. This is one that I struggle with, in all honesty. And most times, just speaking my insecurity out loud for some reason allows me to recognize it as needing validation from the outside and irrational. And as a cue for me to remind myself that I can just validate myself and go forward, doing whatever it is that I want to do. But it's something that runs so deep within me from the past that it just seeps its way into the present moment. The next point is we take things that others do personally, especially fearfully, or when we get angry at others for not doing things. But if we're fearful of rejection from someone or abandonment, one example that could occur is someone may not respond to us in this instant gratification 2020 way, and we may spin into this spiral of fear. We may take that action of theirs personally and think, oh my gosh, something that we did must have led them to do whatever it is that they're doing. We must have said something out of order, like that crossed a line, that crossed a boundary, that made them uncomfortable in some sort of way, and now they're avoiding me. Now I'm like feeling abandoned and in fear of rejection. And another point that I didn't write down, but I want to add in that came to mind, is taking others for granted. So maybe one example coming to mind is we asked someone to do something and they didn't, or they denied our request in some way. And we take others for granted, take their needs for granted. We don't consider them. We don't consider that maybe they had a long day. And if other people do things that we ask, or just do things for us, or just do things that are good for themselves and for the world, we don't appreciate that. Again, we over-own weaknesses and negativity and badness, and we don't appreciate the goodness. We take others for granted. And there's so much more I could say, but I think I'll get to it more later in the points on the other side of this piece of paper. So the next point that I wrote was reactive. Our brain can play a trick on us by us being reactive instead of proactively being intentional and conscious about how we're living and responding to life, whatever comes our way. So, our emotions are sourced externally, for example. Others are making me mad. Others are making me feel guilty. Others are doing this and therefore I'm lashing out. Or reactive to the world around us. And kind of blamey. That's not a word, but we blame the world for things that we're feeling. Things that are just coming up for us. Even, we're taking it personally and we're being reactive. I can or can't do XYZ because of my life circumstances, because of others. I can't be happy reactively because of this situation. So, a couple examples that I wrote down are, we're reactive. A pandemic occurs, and in reaction to that, we use hand sanitizer a bunch. Instead of being proactive and working out, drinking lots of water, eating whole foods, and getting our blood checked to make sure that our nutrients are up to par, our hormones are in good state, aren't out of whack, we're reactive about protecting our health and protecting others' health. And what if we have lost our job from the pandemic, this fun little pandemic of 2020? Then reactively we get a new job rather than proactively thinking, I don't love my job. I'm just going to go get a new one that is in alignment and that has opportunity to make me feel or allow me to better feel fulfilled, happy, connected better with the people that I work with, so on and so forth. Okay, now we're going to turn the page and take a sip of tea. This is Yogi Stress Relief Tea. It's one of my favorites. Excuse me. I recommend you try it out. So, the next point on this little list of mine is we make decisions based in fear. We are committed to the confinement that we feel. Scratch that. We're committed to confinement within our uncomfortable comfort zones. We don't make decisions based in love for ourselves, for life, and for others, and we allow other people's fear to influence us. So we say, hey, person, we want to start a YouTube channel. And they go, but why? Or, they react in some like, oh my gosh, that would make me so scared. I once told my cousin that I wanted to apply to be on Survivor, that show with Jeff Probst. Jeff Probst, he's awesome. Survivor, it's awesome. Anyways, my cousin said they really like cherry pick people from LA, like models and actors nowadays for Survivor. And that was her projecting some fear-based thing of her own onto something that I actually felt passionately and excited about. And I think it was very subconscious. And for most people, their projection of their fear, and for us, like our own little fear monster inside of us, it's projection onto our ideas. That's unconscious much of the time. But it's just a nicer way to live if we are just like, what if my cousin had been actively listening and instead responded with, wow, that's a cool idea. Good luck. Why do you want to apply for Survivor? You know, things like that. That's just a different way, a curious rather than fearful, judgmental, criticism way of living life. So instead of making decisions based in fear, make decisions based in love, in loving other people, trying to uplift them. And even harder, in loving ourselves, trying to uplift ourselves. The next point on my list, my little list over here, is we live in the past or the future. Something I'm guilty of, is I have so much to do, and gosh darn it, it's true. My list, this is my list, and this is my list that's not even like action things. I mean, it is, it's just like for YouTube, my proactive resilience little thingamajazz that I do. Whoa, got a whole list over there for long term. I've got that my vision board over there with my goals for the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's just so much to do. And it used to just like make me so fearful. But the point is, that is me kind of living in the future, taking away from my presence in this moment, here in this space as it is right now, this really special moment. And something that I think is the reason why I'm feeling so blissed out today and so calm is I'm here now. I'm very mindful of the moment and of the fact that I have so much to do, but that I can do one thing at a time, and that it'll be more pleasant if I'm just present while I do it, and in the moment, doing it to my best ability. A quote that's relevant is, how you do one thing, how you do this, whatever it is that you're doing, is how you do everything. So are you actively listening? Are you actively being insightful rather than critical of yourself as you listen? Are you taking notes to really take what you're hearing and put it into practice in your life? Not that you need to do any of these things, okay? I really don't want to shame you. That's not my intention of saying any of this. But how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so often I am living in the future. And I know that many of you watching, maybe not you, okay? Again, don't take this personally. I'm talking to possibly a lot of people here and a lot of different minds. Maybe you live in the past, and maybe you live in a way that is actively avoiding thinking about and living in the past. Whatever the case, we are here now, and that is where life happens, okay? The only 2 days a year, I thought that my fire alarm was going off. It wasn't. It was just a loud beep outside, I think. I got so scared. What's going on? I'm here now, okay? Sorry about my fear. See, that was kind of called for fear. But now I can move on and be here now because everything's fine. I'm getting a little bit lost. What was I saying? The only 2 days a year when you can't do anything. You can't make progress move forward. You can't do anything. Is yesterday and tomorrow. Okay? Today is the one time that you have to live, to do, to be. I'm getting hippy dippy here, but live here. Be here now. And that can be really uncomfortable sometimes. But kind of brings me to that next point underneath living in the past or the future. Emotional flashbacks, okay? Sometimes our thoughts come up and they're really uncomfortable to sit with here now. And emotions, I'm learning a lot about emotional flashbacks. How, just as you imagine a soldier who's returned from war may have experienced really overwhelmingly scary sensations and experiences, they may have this very visual and visceral flashback of that moment in their present moment. Even if in the present, they're not in that combat zone, they're here and they're safe. They may experience it anyways. The same goes for people, anyone who has experienced any very overwhelming situation, experience, where they felt powerless to change it. And those flashbacks occur for anyone who's experienced overwhelming feelings and experiences. And it may not be visual, but it definitely is visceral. But we don't make the connection that what we're feeling now isn't actually based here now. It's something from the past that we're reliving. So I'm finding that really, really fascinating. But it's weird how even if you are living in the present, our bodies and our brains are not here. They're in the past. And so when you're having an emotional flashback, gaining awareness is where this all starts, and that can be tough to, feel it, experience it, gain awareness of it, and even harder to then, talk yourself down with that consciousness and say, I'm here now, I'm safe, and then even harder to viscerally feel safe again and ground yourself. Calm down. But I recommend that you try it, okay? You recommend every now and then when you're sensing that you're having an overwhelming feeling that doesn't fit this moment, recognize it as an emotional flashback. Tell yourself it's all right. Walk away from the cliff, okay? Don't jump off. Just walk away. Okay, and then the last thing under that point is we aren't intentional of what we want in the present, and setting that intention in place, actively practicing it, living it, manifesting it. So for example, we don't realize that we really want to feel really healthy and connected in love with people in our lives and with life, that we want to have fun. So we don't set that intention. And also, this is kind of jumping down to another point, but we don't think that it's available to us now. We think, well, we need to do X, Y, and Z before we can just have fun. I did not edit just there. My camera ran out of space. At 24 minutes, it cuts me off. And I guess I'm very chatty today and taking a long time getting these things out. But if you're actually actively listening and taking notes, I think that this is all, it could be valuable for you. So excuse my lengthy talkiness. I'm just going to continue forward and try to wrap it up here very soon. Anyways, we think that we need XYZ before we can have fun. But really, the only way to learn how to have fun and make it just kind of our natural state is by doing it now. We only have one life that we're aware of. We don't even know if we have tomorrow. Just being real, okay? Why not enjoy it now? Okay, and just adding on a little bit of advice and context, and framework to this point. We don't always get things perfect, okay? No one does. That's human nature. We're not supposed to be perfect. Just like I said in the beginning. We don't need to be perfect. Why try? We're going to set these intentions to have fun, to be calm, to be here now, to own our strengths. But we're not always going to succeed in doing so. But having that intention in place and trying, being like, okay, right now I'm going to have fun with whatever it is that I'm doing. With listening to Allison, just chat. Okay, it's just the mailman walking down the street, listening to something like a podcast, excessively loud, I think. And I still have issues kind of owning this YouTube channel and just doing it regardless of people being around. So I thought that someone had entered my house, and I was like, gosh darn it, you saw him. Anyways, where was I? I'm just going to move ahead to the next point. It's about darn time. So the next trick that our mind plays on us is momentum. Our knee-jerk reactions. How we have reacted time and time again that just, come to mind and we act on them, not intentionally, not consciously, in the same knee-jerk way that we have in the past. Rather than realizing that, for example, and I've said this before in another video, we want and need connection and love. When that same example of someone doesn't respond to us instantly, instant gratification style, and maybe we notice that they're posting on Snapchat, they're just not responding to me, and we get all mad at them, and maybe we give them the silent treatment. We're not realizing that what we actually want and need in that moment is connection and love. And that actually, that knee-jerk reaction of ours to ignore them is bringing us even further away from what we actually want. So our knee-jerk reactions are actually roundabout, not only, not helpful, but taking us further away from fulfillment, from having our needs met, and happy, good emotions that result from having our needs met. Knee-jerk reactions. The next point, this is second to last, is separation and lack of integration. We think that we're separate from other people or from maybe life, that we're unique in being a victim, in being unable to be healthy and be happy. We're separated from ourselves, worrying about what other people think rather than what we think, trying to avoid pain, and therefore being disconnected and unable to feel joy and fun. We're disconnected from others, from seeing them as a human, having their own human experience and needs, and instead we take things personally rather than connecting to that truth within them with our truth. And we're separated from now, from here. We're separated, disconnected in so many ways, when really we could integrate it all. And I wrote integrating our past, present, and future. I was so dissociated a couple years ago that I had this aha moment where I'm like, wow, in the past 5 years, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, and wow, I was there for all of it. Oh my God, it's been a tough time for me. I just didn't put it together. And also, we don't integrate the fact that our past, whatever our past was, all of the different experiences, good, bad, label them however you want, brought us here now. It truly did. And integrating the fact that what we do here now, it doesn't have to be, the same as the past. But what we do influences our future. What we do now influences our future. And our future, it doesn't have to be this blah, on repeat thing. It can be intentional and go in different directions. The decisions we make today affect our future. That's what I'm saying. Integrate here now with the future. Instead of living in your future, be like, okay, this decision, it will be good for my future self. Okay. And the last point I have is that our mind tricks us into thinking that health and happiness are available to you, not to me. I need X, Y, and Z to be healthy, to be happy, to be able to do the things that will make me feel healthy, make me feel happy. I can't be happy as I am right now. It's not available to me. For some reason, it's available to others, but it's not available to me. That's just not true. It's not true. It's probably the meanest trick that our brains can play. And probably all of the other tricks that our brains play on us, our minds play on us, contribute to this point. And that point contributes to our mind playing all these other tricks. You know, it's this vicious cycle. And so I encourage you to gain awareness of them all. And yeah. So I have homework for you, but first I want to share a line from the song by Alabama Shakes called I Don't Want to Fight. I don't want to fight no more. And oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm kind of going to sing for you right here, but just to like tie things together. In this song, listen to it for yourselves, okay, because I'm about to butcher it. She says a line, attacking, defending, till there's nothing left worth winning. And then it just keeps going, but like that hit home with me recently, listening to it on my record player. The record is so cool, by the way. It's like see-through, transparent, and like shiny rainbow if you move it around instead of just like a black vinyl, you know. Anyways, attacking, defending, till there's nothing left worth winning. Like, I guess another point that I could make is that we want to be right or respected. But sometimes in fighting for someone to recognize the truth in what we're saying or our worthiness of saying anything, we beat the point to like death, you know. Till there's nothing left worth winning. Like, remember, ultimately, and I guess if there's not nothing to remember, realize it for the first time. Realize what you really want. And then act in alignment with that. If you really want love, then don't attack and defend till there's nothing left to win. Like, be curious. Seek to understand before being understood. Even just let go of the need to be understood. Let go of conversations that lead in that direction. Talk about ideas and things and just be curious and open, you know, rather than just needing to be right, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of sums up everything for me. Like, ultimately, sometimes, like, doing things and our minds, they get so caught up in things and we forget what even we're aiming for, like what we're going towards, till there's nothing left worth winning. Like, just sometimes, you know, it doesn't have to be so complex. We just want love. Most of us just want love and happiness and health and fun. So just, you know, make it simple. And then my homework for you, my friends, is to own your strengths. What are your strengths? If you don't know, there's a quiz you can take below. And also, your homework is to appreciate when things go right and when people are nice. And remember that we have one life. Enjoy it. That's all for me today. If you enjoyed this video, enjoy me talking about things. If you have financial resources to share, you can buy me a coffee at the link below. It's not expected, but very appreciated. You can like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I know there's so many of you who aren't subscribed. Guys, just do it, okay? It really helps me. The like helps me know what you guys like so I can make more of it. And the subscribe helps me and YouTube know that we're doing all right, and YouTube know that, you know, it should let adult children come to my page more. This is the stuff that I would edit out and just like start over from, but at this point, I don't know if anyone's even listening. Is anyone listening to me talk anymore? If you're listening, comment an emoji. Comment the mermaid emoji if you're still listening right now. Comment an emoji, comment anything, comment how this all plays up in your life, plays out in your life, and if there are any tricks that play out in your mind that I didn't list here. And feel free to email me, feel free to work with me. I am a trauma recovery and resilience coach, and I'd love to work with you. And that's it. That's all that I have to say about that. And I hope that you have a really nice day and weekend. And if not, that you just accept yourself for however you're feeling and know that that's all right and that you're trying really hard and that you're doing great, in my opinion. And if you don't feel like you're doing great, that's okay too, okay? Just do you. Be you, feel you, know that that's all right. I'm going to get going. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'll talk to you guys later.